Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's Bitdefender session. In this presentation, I'd like to share with you some ideas on how you can effectively secure your hyperconverged infrastructure without defeating its purpose. Our agenda for today includes a quick overview of Bitdefender for those of you who are not yet familiar with us. We're going to have a discussion about security requirements for hyperconverged infrastructure and why it is important for you as infrastructure and operations leaders to be involved in security decisions. Then I'm going to give you a quick teaser preview of a revolutionary security solution we developed together with Citrix, Linux Foundation, and Intel. And then we're going to have a drawing for the Lego Star Wars. And to participate in the drawing, you need to have your ticket. If you don't have a ticket, please reach out to my colleague team in the back. Bitdefender is a global security technology company. We've been around for 16 years. And we have 1,300 employees worldwide. Over 30% of our personnel is focused on security research and development. That is the engine of our innovation and security. We have 17 offices worldwide, and our enterprise business that I'm representing here is headquartered out of Santa Clara, California. Some interesting facts about Bitdefender. We operate the largest security delivery infrastructure in the world. We protect 500 million endpoints, virtual servers in the data center, machines in the cloud, physical servers, and end-user devices. We cover 150 countries with our security delivery infrastructure. This is the biggest security coverage of any security vendor in the world. We license our security technology to over 130 companies, including brands like IBM, FireEye, and Blue Coat. Our enterprise endpoint protection system, Gravity Zone, converges all security-related activities into automated workflows administered through a single unified console, which dramatically simplifies security manageability and enhances visibility across the enterprise. Gravity Zone is built on a lean and efficient architecture that allows us to have the smallest possible footprint in the data center and the minimal impact on infrastructure performance. So this way, we enable higher infrastructure utilization and better user experience for you and for your users. Gravity Zone is universally compatible with all hypervisor environments. Any hypervisor you can think of, we support. ESXi from VMware, Hyper-V from Microsoft, and of course, Acropolis hypervisor from Nutanix. From the security efficacy standpoint, we've been consistently receiving awards in security efficacy and our ability to detect and remediate threats from independent third-party test organizations. Our security delivers a layered approach. It provides multiple layers of defenses, including next-generation technologies, to make sure that your data center is fully protected. We are a proud partner of Nutanix. We are honored to be the only endpoint protection platform included in the Nutanix Com Marketplace launch, which you may have seen during the keynote today, 2 days ago. Gravity Zone is a Nutanix AHV-ready solution. We deliver the best security provisioning automation, the highest virtualization density, and the best application performance on Nutanix. Now let's talk about why security matters for hyperconverged infrastructure. What are the specific security requirements for hyperconverged infrastructure? So most of you here are Nutanix customers, and there were specific reasons why you decided to invest in Nutanix infrastructure. Gartner classifies hyperconverged infrastructure as the fastest growing infrastructure category in the data center overall. They are predicting that the hyperconverged infrastructure market is going to reach $6 billion by 2020. That's an over 60% compound annual growth rate. So hyperconverged infrastructure acts as a foundational pillar for data center transformation and IT modernization. With your Nutanix infrastructure, you're enabling innovative cloud-based business models that help your organization drive incremental revenues and improve your customer experience. With hyperconverged infrastructure, you make your IT more agile at provisioning IT services and data center resources to the business, and you're saving a ton of money with hyperconverged infrastructure because of the higher operational efficiency, as well as higher infrastructure utilization and infrastructure cost containment resulting from it. Now, what does security have to do with all this? A lot. Security can have a substantial impact on your data center. For example, what would happen if the applications you're delivering to your customer through the cloud are jittery because of the latency that security introduces? What if security requires so much manual effort to provision that it takes a much longer time than you would want as you're fostering the agility of your IT organization? What if you have to have much more infrastructure resources you would have to acquire because you have to dedicate a lot to security? So the legacy security can substantially hamper the benefits you are hoping to get and maybe already getting from your Nutanix infrastructure. Some interesting numbers. If you look at security's impact on data center resources, CPU, memory, IOPS, you can lose up to 30% of your CPU capacity if you're running legacy security on Nutanix. Application response, a substantial slowdown. And what's worse is the jitter in application response, which is a pretty bad thing for user experience. Recent research in the VDI space has shown that people are more upset when the application response times are jittery, when they vary, rather than when they are just uniformly slower. You've probably experienced that when you have a poor connection, you're trying to download a page, the link you want to click appears, you click on it, and it turns out the page was in the process of loading, and you ended up clicking on the wrong link. So what's wrong with this legacy security? Why is it a problem for the data center infrastructure performance? This security is built for physical infrastructure, for an environment where resource utilization is not a concern. They are based on heavy agents, anti-malware agents, that are put into every virtual machine. And these agents are involved with very resource-intensive tasks, such as scanning, for example, or signature database downloads. And as the result of this inefficient anti-malware process, you end up having a full copy of the signature database on every virtual machine. Imagine you have 10,000 virtual machines. You have 10,000 copies of exactly the same signature database. Why would you want that? What a waste. So this resource-intensive nature of traditional security has a substantial impact on VM resources and also causes a conflict between security trying to run and your production applications. And you're buying your infrastructure to run production applications, not to run security. There is a known phenomenon in the industry called AV storms, where multiple agents on multiple VMs start downloading signatures all at the same time. And this takes such a huge toll on infrastructure resources that brownouts and even blackouts from time to time take place in application performance. Imagine what that does to your user experience, to your user satisfaction. You start getting calls. Another problem with a lot of legacy solutions is manageability. I'm sure some of you, if not all of you, have had a chance to deal with a legacy security solution that requires you to deploy multiple agents to get the basic endpoint security functionality, basic anti-malware functionality. Some of these solutions force you to have multiple management consoles. So as a result, management efficiency is not there. And you're buying Nutanix because of how easy it is to manage, because of the operational efficiency gains it provides you. So from that standpoint, legacy security defeats the purpose. Now, there are also so-called agentless solutions, those that do not require a dedicated security agent to be placed within a virtual machine. They use a driver that comes as part of the virtual machine as a proxy for a security agent. And they use a security virtual appliance that takes care of the heavy security workloads, like scanning, for example, and signature downloads. This architecture is more efficient in terms of its footprint and resource consumption, but it has problems with this, from the security efficacy standpoint. These solutions only deliver signature-based detection. They lack all the advanced techniques, such as machine learning, for example, behavioral monitoring, anti-exploit, anti-rootkit. And also, in these solutions, security is tightly coupled with the hypervisor. So you cannot run multiple hypervisors. You cannot manage security running on multiple hypervisors from the same deployment. You would need to have separate consoles in that scenario, which complicates manageability. Also, whenever you do an update to the hypervisor host, those of you who have experienced that, it is difficult because you need to coordinate all the different versions of security with the versions of the hypervisor host and other elements of the virtualized infrastructure. Now, scalability is also less efficient because you have to have a security virtual appliance for every host. The security virtual appliance cannot service multiple hosts at the same time. It has to be a one-to-one ratio between the security virtual appliance and the host. So for every host, you have to have a security virtual appliance. So the main point we're trying to make here is echoed by Gartner, who says, paraphrasing this quote a little bit, that you need to pick a security solution that is purpose-built to support the infrastructure you're trying to protect with it. Right? So for hyperconverged infrastructure, a solution that would be optimal would be one that combines the benefits of the solutions we just covered, the legacy solutions with their substantial security capabilities, and the agentless solutions with their small infrastructure footprint. This solution would be hypervisor agnostic. It would support any virtualization environment. It would deploy a very lightweight, a featherweight agent in each virtual machine, the agent taking up very few resources from the CPU, from the memory, and the very few IOPS cycles, but would deliver advanced security functionality like machine learning, for example, or process control. The security virtual appliance would take up all of the heavy workloads and therefore rationalize and make the anti-malware architecture and processes more efficient. But unlike the agentless solution, the security virtual appliance would be able to not only support multiple virtualization hosts, it would also be servicing cloud-based machines as well as the physical infrastructure. And the multiple security virtual appliances would converge and report into the same unified management console that gives you manageability across all the endpoint security in your enterprise. From the scalability standpoint, the architecture of the security solution needs to be modular to allow security to scale in parallel with the scaling of the hyperconverged infrastructure. Like you can simply add on Nutanix clusters whenever you need to scale, you should be able to add security virtual appliances whenever you need to secure the incremental virtual machines in your installation. So it should be as easy as that. From the resilience standpoint, of course, there should be an automatic failover mechanism built into the security solution so that whenever a security virtual appliance fails, the machines automatically fall back to another security virtual appliance in the same installation. I'd like to quickly present to you a case study, an interesting one, from a network of hospitals in Europe servicing about 500,000 patients per year. They were ripping and replacing their three-tier data center with Nutanix to run server, desktop, and application virtualization. And they're a very progressive IT team. And they really saw the value in streamlining IT operations, refocusing IT to serve the needs of the business and the customer, and also improving the cost structure of their data center. So part of that deployment was a fairly substantial VDI infrastructure, virtual desktop infrastructure, with 1,500 desktops that they were planning to run on Nutanix. Now, their environment at the time was based on VMware ESXi and Horizon View. They were planning later, as probably many of you are looking to do, to migrate from ESXi to Nutanix Acropolis Hypervisor. And in their case, they wanted to move from Horizon View to Citrix Zen Desktop. So when they were looking for a security solution, they were looking for one that would support that migration strategy. And in the proof of concept exercise, we were one of the players evaluated. There was also another solution that we're looking at. Now, they were also looking to expand the benefits they were achieving with their hyperconverged infrastructure to also cover security. So they wanted simple manageability for security, ease of deployment. They wanted to be able to put as many virtual desktop sessions per host as they could. So they were looking for a security solution with the smallest footprint. And now, from the operational standpoint, from the automation standpoint, in the process of the POC, they found out that that other security solution required them to run manual scripts every time they would spin up a new virtual desktop, or they would activate a dormant virtual desktop. So that meant that even though they were able to put the security agent in the golden image for virtual desktop, when they actually activate the desktop, the security agent would not become active on its own. It would not become active automatically. They would have to run manual scripts. And since they had 1,500 desktops to manage, it was turning into a nightmare. And so they immediately decided not to go with that solution. They were looking at us because we enabled this automatic agent activation, and so they did not have to do anything as it pertained to security to provide a secure virtual desktop. So that was one of our advantages there. And also our ability to support these multiple platforms, to support VMware, to support Citrix, to support Nutanix, guaranteed for them that they will be able to move forward with their infrastructure strategy without causing disruptions in security coverage. So as a result, the joint solution with the Nutanix infrastructure, Citrix Zen Desktop, and Bitdefender allowed them to improve the experience of doctors and nurses with their virtual desktops and consequently impacted the quality of patient care. They got a substantially simplified VDI infrastructure and the security stack from both the manageability standpoint and the coverage standpoint. They were able to reduce their time to value to deploy in a matter of weeks rather than a matter of months. And of course, they were able to repurpose a lot of the time of their IT operations staff that was freed up because of the easier security manageability to focus on more important projects, on business-critical applications, and customer support. Now, moving on, I'd like to give you a quick preview of a pretty interesting new security solution that is already proven in the market that we developed jointly with Citrix, Linux Foundation, and Intel. This security solution enables you to fend off advanced targeted attacks and prevent breaches. So unlike the traditional conventional attacks that aim at affecting the largest number of companies, users, and devices, advanced persistent threats are extremely focused. They're meticulously planned to attack specific enterprises, specific government agencies, and nonprofit organizations with the purpose of industrial espionage, financial gain, or sabotage. In the process, hackers establish an ongoing process that remains covered and stealthy. That is really the main mechanism and the main goal, to create a remote command and control center that would provide the perpetrators the visibility into the victim's organization and give them the ability to exfiltrate data at their leisure. Now, the reason these advanced persistent threats are such a big problem is that they manage to evade traditional endpoint security solutions. And the reason it happens is the kill chain involves the escalation of the privilege level for the infection down to the kernel level. And that is the level at which the security solution operates. And since the infection and the security solution are now at the same level of privilege, the security solution cannot effectively detect the threats or reliably detect the threat, and the threat has the ability to disable the security solution. Now, to solve this problem, we came up with a product called Hypervisor Raw Memory Introspection, or HVI. So what hypervisor introspection does is it creates a new security layer, which is pretty revolutionary. There is no other solution that is capable of doing the same thing. And that security level has an even higher level of privilege that kernel within the VM's OS. The security layer lives within the hypervisor. It is physically separated from the virtual machine. So no matter what happens within the virtual machine, how sophisticated an infection, hypervisor introspection will not be affected by it just because it's physically isolated from it. Now, it has the visibility into the memory of the hypervisor host. So hypervisor introspection can monitor every and any memory change that occurs. And as you know, any attack, regardless of whether it's an advanced persistent threat or just a mundane, basic attack, has a footprint in the memory. So hypervisor introspection can therefore see everything that is going on and is able to detect any infection. Now, as you know, there are myriads of malware, but all of them are based on a limited number of exploit techniques or attack techniques, like the buffer overflow, heap spray, API hooking, and some others. But the number of these techniques is finite. And the changes in the memory space that each attack technique involves are known. So what hypervisor introspection does is it correlates changes it's observing in the memory space with the known attack patterns. And this is how it's able to detect attacks. And it is also capable of remediating them on the spot. The beauty of hypervisor introspection, like I said, is that it lives outside of the virtual machine. So it means it has zero footprint within the virtual machine. So it does not affect VM resources, right? It's a truly agentless solution. It's a truly zero impact solution in terms of consuming VM resources and its footprint within the VM. So HVI, just to summarize, and this, like I said, this is a teaser preview. We'll be happy to tell you more about it and demo you the solution. It delivers reliable protection against breaches and advanced persistent threats that cause them. It is isolated from the virtual machine, so it's impossible for any infection to compromise. Interesting. Sorry about that. It is a truly agentless solution, right? We talked about it having no footprint within the virtual machine. And it's very easy to deploy. Like all Bitdefender solutions, we focus on usability and manageability. And if you choose to deploy hypervisor introspection in conjunction with Bitdefender Gravity Zone, you can use the same unified management console you use for Gravity Zone with HVI. But HVI is not limited to Bitdefender security. You can use it with any security solution you have. It is complementary. As we've seen, it takes care of a different kind of threats, of advanced persistent threats. You can use conventional security to cover the kind of the standard common threats, if you will. So it is a complementary, thank you, a complementary solution to your traditional endpoint protection platforms. HVI has been tested effective against all the key advanced persistent threats that are behind these major breaches that we've been hearing about. Eternal Blue, for example, that is the exploit that was used to roll out the WannaCry ransomware, and this week's outbreak of GoldenEye/Petya ransomware. Good news for Nutanix customers running on Citrix Xen Server. HVI is available to you with the new release of Acropolis OS 5.1, and we'll be happy to talk to you more about how it works and what it does. So the takeaways. When you're looking to secure your hyperconverged infrastructure, pick a solution that is going to help you extend its benefits into security, into the security space, into the security operations space. Do not pick a legacy solution that's going to hinder and slow down your hyperconverged infrastructure. Pick a solution that has the minimum possible footprint within the virtual machine, has the minimum possible impact on infrastructure resources and application performance. Pick a solution that is easy to manage and administer, that supports automation. Choose a solution that supports multiple hypervisor environments. There are a lot of companies who have multiple hypervisors in their on-premises data center. More companies will have to deal with the multiple hypervisor environment when they expand to the cloud. So it is really important for you to focus on those solutions that would seamlessly work with various different hypervisors, like we saw in the case study example we just talked about. Scalability. You want a security solution that's going to be able to linearly scale out together with your infrastructure. And of course, last but not least, do not compromise on security. Pick a solution that delivers layered next-generation defenses, that uses multiple different security techniques to deliver the best protection for you, for your data center. So on this note, thank you very much for your time. The session has concluded. If you have any questions, please feel free to shoot me an email at mweinstein@bitdefender.com. Also check out our solutions page for Nutanix, which is bitdefender.com/Nutanix. And now we're ready to do the drawing. Tim, please take it away, sir.
Michael, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. All right, guys, let's give it up for Michael. That was fantastic. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Great. Everyone excited? All right. Let's see here what we got. The numbers: 788-182. 788-182. All right. Let's give it up for him, guys. All right, sir. Gonna double check that. That's perfect. You are the winner. All right, Daniel, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, Michael, want me to give it back to you, and then
We're done.
Okay, great. Well, everyone, thanks a lot for coming in to our breakout session. Have a great day. Thanks.